Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers, boys.
That's great.
That.
Cheers. Oh my goodness.
It's pretty good.
Tasty.
So tonight I cracked open a local beer from TF Brewing here in Salt Lake, and it's a collab with Roadhouse Brewing in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And this is it's called Superdelic Kush, and this is a cold West Coast IPA. So it's got Superdelic hops and Superdelic Cryo hops and the Nectaron hops. Cryo is pretty much just like a super concentrated form of the hop. I think it's like freeze-dried pellets or something like that. Some kind of extract, so they just take like the best part of the hops. That's like the fruitiest, most juiciest, and then they jam pack it with that. But then it's a cold IPA, so instead of like a normal India Pale Ale, which is brewed with ale yeast, this is brewed with lager yeast, which is fermented at a cooler temperature than ale yeast. And it also has like rice and corn in the in the grain bill, which makes it lighter. So basically it's just supposed to be like a super crispy, clean West Coast IPA. It's pretty good too.
Nice.
Looks
TF
tasty.
Brewing is definitely the best brewery here in Salt Lake. Good people too.
Awesome.
Looks good. I
stuff.
might come over there.
Not a lot of competition though, right?
Yeah, I sent you some, Jimmy, of the I think last year I sent you and Paul some IPAs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember that.
those were solid. Those were
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah, they do some good hazy IPAs, and they do really good pilsners and lagers, and they've been doing like wild fermentation. So I have like a farmhouse ale from them that they
wow.
did, like a spontaneous fermentation stuff.
That's really cool. So I brought tonight here Femme Fatale from Root and Branch. It's a collaboration beer with Evil Twin. They're both out of New York. So Root and Branch is on Long Island. Evil Twin is more in New York City. And this one has yuzu in it, which is a Japanese citrus. And I haven't had that before until just now, and it's really nice. So they're doing a Citro and Simcoe with this. Comes in at 6%. So it's nice and light. It's surprisingly citrusy, but it's got a different kind of a little bit different hit to it than like lemon or grapefruit or orange.
Nice. Yeah, it looks really creamy and thick.
Yeah,
Root and Branch
comes-
is some awesome stuff.
really highly rated, but it just has definitely a nice citrus feel to it.
This one's 6.8%. I forgot to mention that. And it's just 3 weeks old, so pretty fresh still. On the previous show, I talked about how hazy IPAs usually only last like a month or like 6 weeks usually. But West Coast IPAs, I'm not sure why this is, and I've asked brewers why, and they haven't really given me a straight answer. They tend to have a longer shelf life. They keep the flavor, and yeah, they last a lot longer than a hazy IPA. So something like this could last like two months or maybe even 3 months easily. Still want to drink them fresh, but they're not going to fall off as quickly.
Yeah, so this one's only 20 days old at this point.
Nice. Yeah, Root and Branch is great. I'm getting some stuff soon.
Very nice.
What you got, Paul?
Yeah, helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, yeah. I'm
New
ground zero
headset.
here. That's right, breaking it in on episode 2 here. Do a test drive. Maybe
Prime
a
Day
service call.
special there, right there.
That's right. 2-day delivery, baby. Right now, I cracked open my first beer. What I'm working on is Fiden's Triple Orchard. Really enjoying this
Orchid.
one. Orchid, thank you. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorites of theirs. Their triples are absolutely fantastic. Fiden's Brewery out of Albany, New York. This one's Nelson hops from Sunrise Valley in New Zealand. Comes in at 10%. But honestly, this one drinks like a double. I mean, it's not overbearing. You don't taste a lot of alcohol. It's soft. It's creamy. Citrus. It's one of my favorites. you'll find this one, it's typically rated in the mid to upper fours on most of those platforms. So comes in with solid ratings. And this baby was canned in June. So triples definitely hold up longer than anything else just due to the alcohol content. So it's just about perfect right now.
I think also because they just jam pack it with so many hops to mask the alcohol. Since there's more ingredients, it lasts longer before the flavor falls off. But yeah, that one is amazing, and that one's all Nelson, and Nelson is one of my top 3 favorite hops for sure. Lots of character.
Yeah, it's
Super unique.
so good and smooth. It's so good.
I remember having that one the first time, and it was really good. I hesitated to. I wish I had grabbed a few more.
Yeah, whenever there's like a single hop double IPA or triple IPA, I really enjoy getting those because it really helps you learn the characteristics of that hop. Whereas if there's like Citra, Mosaic, and Nelson, it can be kind of hard to pick them out if you're not familiar. But whenever you get like a single hop IPA, you can really learn about the hop and like, you know, find all the subtleties about it and different characteristics.
Absolutely. Mike, what are you doing?
So, courtesy of Paul, drinking Overripe by Great Notion. Hopefully, you can see that without too much reflection on it. So, they're out of Portland. So, this is a smoothie style. So, I'll hold up the mug so you can see it. Kind of looks like orange juice, and it kind of tastes a bit like a orange juice or tropical drink because it's a tart ale with mango and mangosteen flavors. 6.3% alcohol. This one was canned in May, so it's got a little bit of time in the refrigerator, but I've been saving it for this episode. These are definitely becoming my favorite kind of change of pace beer for, when I'm drinking IPAs a lot, especially in the summer. It's nice to crack open one of these smoothies because they're so juicy, so smooth. So definitely this could definitely be a breakfast beer. They're awesome on a hot day, so I love mixing them in and kind of experimenting with them. This one in particular, though, has been really good. Definitely my favorite smoothie style that I've had since I've been experimenting with it.
Yeah, I just had another one of those over the weekend. I like that one a lot. I really like it has a lot of carbonation, like way more than you would expect.
Yep.
I thought that was nice about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have picked up
Yeah,
a few more of
definitely.
those for myself. Those were, I had some, but I wish I would have got a couple more. Those were great.
Yeah.
What was that noise? A little dunk? You throwing some ice cubes in there?
Yeah, I'm throwing ice cubes in my beer. Yeah. No, I was topping it off, and the can was bent a little bit, so I squeezed it and popped back out. It just happened to be right next to my microphone, so that's probably not the ideal place for it.
Did you roll
Did
that
you,
can pretty well before pouring it?
I did. Yeah, I did a little bit. Probably maybe not as well because it feels a little heavy at the bottom there, so there's probably still some residual fruit. But
That's the same thing I was
time.
wondering.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I've done that before where with those smoothies, that first pour is pretty thin. And then that second pour, you have to grab a spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had some where I can barely get it out of the can. I have to like scoop it out or like hit the side of the can so it like plops out.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Those are kind of dangerous because you really got to roll them and shake it up in order to get everything like even and balanced inside the can. But they also like, shaking them up, they get really explosive and they'll foam up on you. And I've had like big messes from pouring a smoothie too fast or shaking it up too much.
Yeah, love them. Love the smoothie. I got a few of those in the fridge still. The great thing about the smoothie, most of them, in my experience, they hold up for a long time. So you get, I've gotten 6-8 months, even close to a year on some. It may lose a note that's in there, but it's still, they still hold up pretty good.
Yeah, we drank that one that was like a year old. Remember that Great Notion one that we loved? And you still had a can in the back of your fridge?
Yeah, I was saving it for us.
They need to do that one again.
Yeah, that thing had legs.
Super good. All right, well, let's check out what photographs we got this week. So
Cool.
I'm featuring another one from Krista Berg because in my stupidity, it's kind of awkward, but I didn't really do enough research, and for some reason I thought that Krista Berg was a woman, and I think you guys did too. We were all referring to him as her. So I feel kind of bad about that, but also his photography is just amazing. So happy to feature another one of his images. Seems like a really cool guy as well. But this scene just really caught my eye going through his stuff, looking for something to share, because I love the composition of the snowbank in the foreground, and then the snowy like birch trees, and then the pattern in the background of the broken ice on the surface of the lake is just like, and like it would be a great image even without it, but then having that in the background where it adds some complexity, but it's not distracting, it just adds like a really interesting textured background. For me, it was like really the icing on the cake with this one. Just made it super unique. I've never really seen anything else like this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, for me on this one, that ice in the background, it just really, it's super unique, and it ties it all in. I mean, that's a great image. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, we couldn't even get through the first episode without fucking it up. But yeah, sorry, Krister. Hopefully,
All right.
I think we each,
We'll
I think
buy
everybody,
you a beer.
I think we all cracked a 10%er to kick things off and loosen up a little bit. So
Yeah.
our bad.
That was the tailgating.
Yeah, we hit it out of the gate pretty hard.
Yes.
There's something really special about that fresh snow that it almost. I mean, I'd be almost convinced that he had snow there like the night before, just based on like how the snow is blemished in the bottom there. But I live along the Hudson River, and I'm assuming that's a river flow. I have never seen it look like that. I mean, I've seen all kinds of weird ice formations, but that's a really special moment in terms of like how the ice is patterned, all that angular stuff. It's just, yeah, that's crazy. I would love to see ice like that someday.
yeah, I've shot like so here next to my house we have Utah Lake, which is pretty big, and in the winter it freezes over most of the time if it's cold enough. But then in the spring, once it starts thawing a little bit and we get some wind, which like makes the ice sheets like hit each other and breaks them up into smaller ice sheets, and then they'll like pile up on the shore, and you'll see some stuff like this in the surface. But yeah, this is definitely unique. It's just like really thin tiles of ice, and I mean, he easily could have made a compelling photo just shooting the ice, and I'm sure he did. But then it's cool that he also added like the foreground trees and made it all work as well, because it is pretty complex. But yeah, it feels very simple and well done, very cohesive.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about most of his photographs that is so impressive to me is he takes these scenes that are so complicated, and the way he composes it within the frame, it still has that simplicity to it and still has that flow. And you know, this is just another example of it. I mean, obviously a very complicated scene, but it's still like kind of peaceful almost. It's just easy to look at. And he's definitely good in that regard.
Really nice processing too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and subtle.
Yeah, very tasteful.
Yeah, like your beer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goes hand in hand.
That's right.
Yeah, Krista Berg, he is an awesome guy. He's a good man. Sorry
Well
about
done.
that, Krister.
All right. Yeah. So this is one that I selected. So this is an image from Nick Becker, who's a friend of mine. And I know Jimmy's friends with him too. He's just somebody whose work I really admire. He's really been pushing himself creatively from, you know, reading his writing and stuff like that. He's kind of really exploring the creative side of photography, and it's showing up in especially in his recent work. He's got some awesome bodies of collections of work that are really impressive to look at. This one stood out to me in particular. I love snowy tree scenes, and kind of similar to Krister's image and his images. It's kind of a complex scene that somehow still feels simple. It feels balanced. The composition is even despite being somewhat chaotic. Also, I think he did a great job processing this image. The subtleties and the tones and the transitions and tones, I think, are excellent. There's nothing that's too dark or too black, and similarly, the whites are well balanced. So it's just an overall great image that I really I look at pretty often.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Instagram account right now because I don't think I've ever gone over there. He's got some great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice guy too. Yeah, I mean, I stare at these. I'm assuming these are cottonwood or like quaking aspen. With some
They
kind
look like
of
aspens to me. Do you
Yeah.
guys have
Yeah.
aspens up there?
he
Not as
around-
much up here. He's in St. Louis.
Yeah. It makes me wonder.
He travels a bit though, so I mean,
Yeah, it could be Colorado or something.
yeah.
Yeah. Makes me think they're like maybe quaking aspen, but I'm a little hesitant on the call with that. But that moment when you get like an early snowstorm with these giant flakes that are coming down, it's such a cool moment because it's so quiet, and he really captured that moment really well too. You just don't hear much of anything around you other than maybe snow hitting your hat. Sometimes you can hear it hitting the ground, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like how
Yeah, I love it. It's
There's-
kind of
there's
a
that-
sizzling sound.
yeah, that snow in the scene is really great. You're capturing a still image that has movement in it, and I love that addition to the scene. I've tried to shoot that a few times. It's definitely not easy. It can be difficult to put something like that together, but Nick does a really great job here of creating a little bit of separation between the trees, branches, that background, and then the snowy atmosphere.
Yeah, this is nice. I like the black and white treatment as well.
Yeah, I looked at his IG page too, Eric, and I wasn't following him. Just hit the follow button. Looks like he's got some pretty good other image as well. I'm excited to dig into that a little bit more later.
Yeah, it's really
He's got
nice.
a lot of great writing too. It's mostly on his website, but
Right.
Oh yeah, he has like a blog or
Mhm.
articles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he writes frequently. And really he's really talented writer. So
Love that.
Maybe I could hire him to write for me. That's my weakness. Whoa.
Yeah, this one's pretty crazy.
yeah, this one, and that's exactly why I put this one in for this second session here. So this is from a friend of mine, Saikat Chakraborty. He is a chemistry professor up at Paul Smith College up in the Adirondacks, just outside of Saranac Lake, which is, for those of you not familiar with the Adirondacks, so that's kind of, it's in the High Peaks region as a whole, but it's near Lake Placid, is probably the most famous town nearby. But I've known Saikat for several years now. I've shot with him a few times. Just really have enjoyed his work, and he just has a very strong talent for capturing the Adirondacks, this wild area that we live in, so beautifully. But he just pushes the envelope a little bit, trying to get you to question light and reflections, and really can dial in really nicely on these small scenes. But it's just always something new, and he's one of those photographers that when I see an image, I could probably guess it was his when I see it. And there's a big range of images there. Also a really nice guy. I mean, he's super nice guy, and very honored to have got to meet him and photograph with him a few times.
Yeah, he is. He's actually in Salt Lake right now, or around. He landed in Salt Lake, but I think he's like at Great Basin or something right now. But while he's in Utah, we might meet up in person because we've talked online for several years now. I think we did a portfolio review once back in the day. I think that's how I initially met him. But yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting him in person, hopefully. But his work is always super unique, and Yeah, pretty different. Like this one, I'm having a really hard time wrapping my head around it in a good way. Like it makes it really interesting. I'm trying to figure it out because like the shoreline in the background is really obvious because you can see like the trees and the water and the reflection. But this like little island thing or something that's in the water in front of it, that's like above, it's making like no sense to me how that is working. Like how is it up above? And I'm pretty sure it's just a single exposure,
Hmm.
I would
Yep.
guess. It is
I've shot with them, and I could almost guarantee you that's a single exposure.
not like a in-camera double exposure or anything.
Uh Maybe. I think he's a Fuji shooter, so possibly, but um maybe a double exposure.
I can't imagine how it's not.
Right, like the perspective isn't making sense to me how
Yeah.
the little like island with the rock and the tree is like up here and then the horizon's down here.
Agreed. Super unique and super, yeah, it just makes you kind of think about it. What's going on here? I like
What's
it.
cool about this composition is like normally it's a no-no to have like your subject so far to the left side and then have like all this empty negative space on the right side. But I love how in this scene it works because it goes along with like the feeling of the subject matter and it just gives it this like very open, like airy, ethereal feeling by having all that negative space and then this interesting complexity on the left side. It adds like nice pleasant tension as well. How it's like not balanced, but it's intentional, you know, it's on purpose.
But that's a good way to put it. Like, because I'm looking at it, I'm trying to imagine that focal point being somewhere else, and it just really it works where it's at. So yeah, it's very well done, very tasteful.
Yeah, I'm looking at his. So I've followed him on Instagram for a while, and Instagram doing Instagram things. He seems to have fallen off my because I haven't seen any. His work hasn't popped up in mine lately. So I'm just kind of scrolling through his page, and he really is pushing the envelope creatively, like you said, Jim. And I'm really enjoying it. So I'm just kind of going through and appreciating a lot of his later work, which is in a lot of ways similar to this one. I always appreciate people that are willing to do that and push the envelope and kind of elevate the art form.
He does quite a bit of writing as well, right? He's sent me some blog posts, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mixing him up with somebody else that he's written that were pretty good.
Yeah, he has written a good bit. He's also did a great essay about the ultimate consequence of climate change further down the road in the Adirondack wilderness. That was a little disturbing, to be honest with you, but it was really good, and it got me thinking a whole lot about what the future may lie for us.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot here, but I would say it's mostly normal. Like last summer was hotter than it's been now. We were in the hundreds in April last summer, and this year we just barely hit the hundreds like for the first time 2 days ago. How hot has it been in Vermont and New York?
It's been, I think, about average. It's like, mid 80s, um, which is, again, about average. But I mean, the weirdest thing is we've had so much rain. It's been insane. I know it's national news, all the flooding that we had here. It way like the most rain, I think, in like 50 years or something in the month of June. So,
It's still
it's
raining now, or has
no,
it
so
been?
this is the first dry week we've had, but it literally rains almost every day in June, at least a little bit. Which is very unusual because June it usually starts getting dry here. Um, so yeah, it's definitely different.
Get some of
August
that
is usually
Oregon
dry,
treatment.
so
Yeah, definitely feeling a little Pacific Northwest ish.
Has Oregon been pretty dry?
Yeah, we've been super dry. We just had some rain that came through in the middle of the night 2 days ago, actually. But besides that, we've been dry through, I'd say, early to mid-May. So it's been, and we haven't had those. Last year we had a 5, 6 day stretch of 105, 110, 115-degree weather, which is super abnormal for this area. But this year, we're average. We've had some 90-degree days, and this week it's like mid 80s. This week's been perfect, mid 80s. I can take that.
That's pretty nice. But it's so weird because I used to go to like Oregon and Washington every summer to shoot uh, and do photography. And I remember like even in the summer, what you would expect is like rainy weather. And then like sunny days would be like, maybe here and there, like they're kind of the, like the random things that would happen, but you would expect rain for the most part, like every day.
Yeah, and I mean, those are pretty good. Like from a photography standpoint, pretty good shooting conditions. You get out. We got the rainforest here fairly close in the Columbia River Gorge, a lot of waterfalls, that type of stuff. So pretty conducive for photography and those types of conditions. But yeah, last, I don't know, 3 years, it's been a little bit more drier. Probably May through mid-October. So a little different.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for Mike and I because we both live in the Northeast. So the fall colors that we get starting like kind of like first week of October going through kind of like the third or fourth week of October, depending on your elevation and what side of the mountains you're on. It's hard to say what all this rain is going to end up doing. It'll be interesting to see how it kind of plays out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
here it's supposed to be hot and dry like through September at least because we're in an El Nino. But I don't know what that'll
Yeah.
mean for like fall and winter after that. Like some people say it's supposed to be like wetter, like a wetter fall and winter.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Okay, this one looks like mine from Jason Pettit, I believe.
Yeah,
That's
it's funny because
unpronounced.
you and Jimmy both wanted to pick images from him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just I was kind of cruising around today actually looking for something to feature, and Jason's from Ontario, Canada. This is one of his images. It's titled Nexus. I really enjoyed this one when I found it. The scene itself, when you first look at it, it's a little busy. However, Jason did a really great job, putting this thing together with the tree in the foreground, the textures, the colors in the background, which really, kind of complements that foreground subject as a whole. I actually went back to this one several times today, and just looked at it and enjoyed it a few times. Just to, I haven't seen like anything specifically like this. It's a little bit weighted on the left-hand side, allowing some room for those branches on the right, which I think really works really well for this image. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for like high texture winter vegetation scenes like these where, like the background is just like a sea of texture, like really fills it in. And then the foreground has nice texture with the grass or whatever the plants are with the bits of snow on them. And then that main tree really stands out because it's a bit smoother and it's like, there's contrast of, smooth texture and then like highly detailed, like kind of gritty texture, which is really nice because the lighting isn't really creating any separation here. It's just soft light, but he's using the texture to create that separation instead. And also the color contrast where the tree is white and then everything else is kind of a reddish amber hue. Yeah, the subject stands out really nice.
Agree.
Jason and I kind of live in the same biome, so he's kind of like due like west of where I live. Mike is kind of a little bit more elevated into Vermont, but I mean, I've seen that scene so many times that I've never even photographed that. And I could probably name every plant in there. You got goldenrod and sumac in the back, those little red dots that you see, and paper birch. But he just has a great way of seeing it. So it's always inspiring to see his work and just his take on it all. Because I know he's looking at very much like Saikat, it's very much the same kinds of scenes that we're looking at, just two totally different interpretations of it, which is it's inspiring.
Yeah, I think what I like most about this image is it feels like early winter here, like in this area of the country. I don't know when he took it, but if I had to guess, I would say November. And I spent a lot of time outside in November, especially. And it just brings me back to that. Like, it's exactly what it feels like. And, I love images like that can really make you feel something. And he definitely did that with this one. So really enjoy this image and all of his images. I'm definitely a huge fan of his work.
That's a good comment, Mike. Like that on the shoulder there, that season right between fall and winter, and a little bit of a combination of the two here. And, you kind of zeroed in on when it probably was taken. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, first snow of the season, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that time of year. It's
great.
It's probably one of my favorites. I mean, there's a lot of dead looking stuff out there, but there's also a lot of beauty where, if you come along the right seam where you can kind of tie them both in together, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I prefer like post peak fall where, the trees are mostly bare and they just have a few leaves still dangling from the branches, rather than like peak where they're super full and colorful, but you don't get the same kinds of textures and the same kind of structure in the trees because they're covered up more. They're not as exposed, so you can't like use all the branches in your composition. And they just don't have as much like shape to them, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and on the flip side of winter, it can be also really nice because the early growth, like willows, can take on these red colors. The buds will start producing some color. They're haven't even popped yet. Nothing's blooming or anything like that. You get these really interesting colors that are pretty intense.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And I don't know if you saw that, Jim, this year, but they were around, at least here in Vermont, the spring foliage, if you will. That it was insane this year. It was so colorful.
I know, and I was stuck at home. I couldn't photograph one thing.
Oh, that's right. That's when your back was bothering you.
Yeah, other than I got a lot of portraits of my dog, but
why are you rubbing it in, Mike? Come on.
I know, yeah. I accidentally forgot that you were you were laid up in the month of May.
I think I'm the oldest. Oh, it was what? January, February, March, April, May.
Yeah.
So oldest man in the room.
It's because you're carrying all those cases of beer out of fight-ins for us.
Yeah, exactly.
True story.
Funny how that flares up every Wednesday.
He's bleeding. He's bleeding for the team.
Sure is.
It's worth it.
Yeah, so Jason has a lot of really nice work, really unique, tasteful, personal imagery. Definitely recommend visiting his website. You can find it in the show notes along with everybody else's URL. He's a really cool guy too. So this is an image that stopped me in my tracks. It's from a photographer, Erik Lee. I believe he is in Taiwan, but this is one that he photographed in Iceland. He had another icicle image from an ice cave there that was really cool. But this one, I really loved the simplicity, just this centered, really defined icicle, and then just like the monochromatic blue. And then the composition around it, like the background, it's not just like random ice and stuff. It's this really nice, like swirling, converging composition with the light reflecting on the ridges of the ice and everything. And I just thought this one I've never seen anything like it. And I'm a sucker for icicle scenes. Yeah, this one's just insane. It was like one of the coolest photos I've seen in the last week or so.
Dude, I saw this image and I was gonna pull it. I was like, man, this is awesome. I'm a total ice guy. I mean, I love ice. I absolutely love shooting. As soon as I saw this, I was like, super unique, great textures, great shadows, highlights. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. I love this image.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I think I want to buy this one at some point. It's just like it's pretty sick.
Oh yeah, Mike, you want to show us all the prints you bought in the last week? All the prints that you bought in the last week.
They're on the way. Yeah, I'll get them on the next episode. Yeah.
This is great. I mean, this thing printed like a big monster of this printed large, like on aluminum metal or maybe even acrylic. It would just look fantastic.
Be great for a baby's nursery because it's so peaceful and calm.
Absolutely.
I don't know. For me, it reminds me of it's like heavy metal or something. And he titled it The Sword, which I thought was a super badass and appropriate name for it. It's like perfect title. It's a great example of where a title can like enhance the image. And it's just like, that definitely is a sword. And Yeah, it's just like an epic. It's epic, and yet it's also quiet and tasteful and subtle. But yeah, it's just like it has so much mood to it and everything without being in your face with crazy saturation or the processing is really tasteful, but it's just so dramatic feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. It's perfectly subtle, but still is very dramatic. I really like it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dropping that saturation where it's almost black and white, but there's definitely a blue cast to it. I mean, it's just because that's what ice is. I mean, it's never super colorful. It grabs from its environment, but yeah, it's cold as heck. Cold as heck would produce that. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's
he
nice to look
handled
at.
this one.
Nice to look at with how hot it's been.
Yeah, for sure.
Takes me to a better place.
That's right.
I could send you some dog portraits if you want. That might bring you to a better place, man. Got a lot.
There.
Yeah, if you didn't live in Taiwan, maybe we could ship him some beer and you could send us each a print of this one, but kind of hard to work out a trade when you're international.
Yeah, for sure. This is a beautiful one. Ooh.
Nice.
All right. So another friend of mine, and again Jimmy's as well, is David Wallace. So he's a photographer out of Indiana, right? Is that right, Jim?
I believe so. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
David,
So
we didn't get that right.
Yeah, David Wallace. So I love images that make you feel like you're in the image, and I think you really accomplished that with this wide angle kind of cave overhang scene. Some of the other things I really liked about it is that the arch of the cave kind of matching up with that flowing stream there, or that water runoff, just kind of the parallel there, and just overall how the scene is framed. These are, in my experience, these are pretty difficult shots or photos to create and to do well and have it be balanced and include everything. And again, most importantly, give you that feeling like you're in the scene. And he just did a great job of it. This is definitely one. I'm not going to talk about buying photos because apparently I'm going to be held to that, but I would love to have this one on my wall. Huge.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is, Mike.
Exactly. No, I'm going to. I will. But aspect ratios looks somewhere close to 3-to-1, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say 2-to-1.
One maybe. Yeah.
It looks
there.
like it looks like squares if you cut it in half.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Good point. So, but either way, yeah, printed big up on a mantle. Yeah. So I can see it. So anyway, really well done. I really love David's work, and yeah, really enjoyed this image.
Yeah, I think as we speak, this one he's actually showing for the first time. I want to say it's for this something like with the state fair out where he lives. So I saw an image of it earlier, maybe about 20 inches, maybe 30 inches wide. It just looks great. It's really amazing. But that waterfall on that in the mid left, so that left third, just dripping down. And that rock on the right third to balance that out. And there's just a lot going on here, and not in a bad way. I mean, it's just so much really cool flow. You could probably look at this multiple times and see different things every time.
Where did you guys say you thought he was from?
Indiana.
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Ohio. Okay, somewhere in the Midwest. I don't know why I thought Indiana, but
so yeah, that would explain, because I was thinking like it was the Ohio State Fair. But why is he in Indiana?
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably got none of that right. Sorry, David.
No, you nailed it. He's showing this image. Looks like July 26th through August 6th at the Ohio State Fairgrounds. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really good current image that's going to be on display for you Ohio folks.
Yes, it's nice. And David seems like a cool guy. We've talked a little bit on Instagram, and I know that he likes to drink beer as well. So we've had some chats about beer.
So I like him a little more.
Yeah, you could probably hang out with him, get along.
Great job.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I don't often do panoramas because you kind of have to envision them, especially like in a scene like this where I can imagine it's actually kind of like a tighter space than it looks like here. But since he did the panorama, it just like spread it out a bit more with a wide angle lens. And sometimes it can be hard to kind of envision that because you can't really see it that way with your eyes. It's like a wider perspective than what you're capable of actually seeing. So I admire that for sure.
All right. So this is an image I submitted here tonight. So this is from Krista McCuish out of Nova Scotia. And anytime I see an image from her, I just really enjoy it. She just has a very observant approach to this photograph in the landscape that's around her.
Paul wanted to choose one of her photos as well. Originally, he sent me one.
Yeah. Paul, we're gonna have to fight later. But she just really captures the landscape that's around her just so nicely. And it just, you can just totally get this like sea land aesthetic that surrounds her. It's just really cool. And it's all about textures and tones in some of her work. Really interesting lines that she sees, super observant. And yeah, just really softly spoken as well. Just a gorgeous image. And I just would love to kind of just meet up and just kind of walk through her landscape with her and just seeing what she's seeing.
Yeah, her work is so unique and well done. She's been a favorite of mine ever since I first came across her photography. It was just like an instant. I was blown away and I was like, where has this been this whole time? Like, how did I just now find her? Because I think it was like maybe 2 years ago, like during the pandemic when I was on Instagram more. Yeah, I would say she's like in the top 10, at least top 10 of my favorite photographers, if not top 5. Like everything she does just always amazes me, and it's just so unique and yeah, so well done, so creative. Like I love the studio stuff that she does as well with plants and things that she collects and finds and photographs at home, like in really cool, interesting ways. Like I wouldn't say I'm a fan of studio photography, but the way she does it just makes it look super interesting. Yeah, everything she does is just so perfect. It's insane.
Yeah, I really enjoy this one. It's a great image. What I was looking at earlier in the week was actually some of her. She got some really phenomenal ice photography. It's just it kind of blew me away. I really love that, as I mentioned earlier, I think. But yeah, she's got a really great portfolio and really good images.
There's one where she pricked her finger on a plant and there's a blood drop in the on the ice, and she just rolled with it.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that one's great.
Like, are you
absolutely
way to put herself in the image?
Yeah, that one's great. I saw that one as well.
That's like me, like schlepping your beer around every freaking Wednesday.
Bleeding for the team.
Right. Yeah. But that image is just without that blood drop, it's a beautiful snow ice image, but with that blood drop, it's like, holy moly, like what's going on here? And yeah. So, but she had a great interview on Matt Payne's podcast. It looks like episode 208. That's what I just pulled up, but F-Stop Collaborate podcast. But it'll give you an insight into what, how she operates and what she's looking at and what, so great job, Krista.
Yeah, super unique.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I love the tonality of this too, which, similar to Erik's, image before. It's just very tastefully done, just well processed. There's a lot of really nice flow. I kind of like how the tones are kind of diagonally opposite to the kind of ridge lines in the ice. It kind of adds some subtle complexity to it. So really enjoyable image for sure.
The highlights are brutal in ice. I mean, she's retained all those highlights. The detail on the highlights is like,
So you think this is an image of ice?
Actually, it might be sand with some water flowing across it.
Yeah, to me it looks like sand, like on a beach. I'm gonna look it up and look at the description, but to me, yeah, it looks like a sandy beach, and maybe it's like winter, so it has some kind of frost element to it. But
maybe. She does so many ice images. I actually probably was why I was assuming it was ice, but maybe not.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she has some really great intimate ice scenes. Did you pull this from her Instagram, Jimmy?
Website, I believe.
Okay. I'm not seeing it on here right away. But yeah, it's just cool how it is ambiguous, how we're, none of us are sure what it is, because I think that just makes it all the more interesting and creative, where you can portray it as something else rather than just what it is literally.
Yeah, it's on her website under the first image for recent work.
Is there a description?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with sand or maybe mud because she has another one that looks kind of similar, and she says some mud flats of the Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia.
Very interesting.
But yeah, it's really cool scene. I love the cool tone to it. I think that's kind of something else that makes it slightly confusing as to what the subject matter actually is. It's not like the typical sand color, but yeah, beaches can have like gray sand, and in certain kind of lighting it can look kind of blue.
Yeah, it's almost the same tone of blue as your previous image from
Yeah, the
what's it,
Erik Lee one.
Eric.
Eric Lee, right?
Yep.
Forgot to show you guys this last time.
Can't find it.
This is my coaster.
Nice.
Ah, baby, there it is. Got a couple of those.
All right, before we get into this next one
Ugh,
from Colleen, I'm gonna crack open my second beer because you guys are slow. Last episode I was just drinking one and you guys were pounding them, so now I'm on your pace, and now you guys slowed down.
Hey,
Oh no, there's Jimmy. All right, Jimmy's gonna crack one too, I guess.
I very discreetly poured one. So really under the wire.
You poured a second one already?
Yeah, let me introduce it real quick while you guys are messing around pouring yours.
Yeah, I hope this one doesn't explode on me.
Yeah, I gotta go rinse out this glass.
I actually
Oh.
poured a bottle here.
Oh,
It's a bottle from Burial over in Asheville. This one comes in at 15%, so it's a little bit high
Holy
octane.
moly.
It's called Seasoned Skillet, and I will tell you it's definitely
Gonna
seasoned.
burn you, man.
Yeah.
Very seasoned. This one is described as a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout with counter culture coffee. This one's delicious. If you don't know about Burial, they do fantastic stouts.
So good.
Actually, Mike and I have a couple of them in the air right now, getting ready to land for us. They also do
I
a
still
very
have
good
one in my
job.
fridge from last time we got some.
Yeah, they're great. They do their stouts very well. They also have a really great line of hazy IPAs as well. So,
Mhm.
cheers, boys.
Cheers,
Cheers.
brother. Yeah, their stouts are awesome. I love Burial. They're like one of the coolest breweries there is. Like their graphics and everything and their art, super awesome. David Paul Seymour, I think, does it all.
Yeah, he does. He's a good follow on Instagram as well. You can really follow along and check out his art.
Yeah, I love Burial stuff. Sometimes they do their stouts with decaf coffee too, which not a lot of people do. I'm not sure why, because like even though stouts have coffee, there's not like enough caffeine to keep you up or anything if you drink it at night or like really feel it. But yeah, and then what I love most about their stouts is they're like 14, 15, 16%, like super high ABV all the time, but you can never taste the booze at all. They're so smooth. Like it's crazy. They're super balanced. They're not like over the top like Other Half or Great Notion or something where like the adjuncts are really pronounced. It's more like a nice blend of all the things that they put in them. But yeah, they're always so smooth. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very subtle. It's not boozy. I'm not a huge fan of a real boozy stout. I like it subtle, and yeah, to your point, Eric, they do a really good job with that.
So I cracked this one from Imprint. They're in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. This is the last can I have of this one. I ordered it when they dropped it this year because last year it was like one of the best smoothies I had all year. So this is Mucho Fruto Schmoogie. It's a collab with Electric Brewing in Murrieta, California. And it's 6% smoothie sour. And this one has blue raspberry ice cream and a little bit of lemon and coconut.
Nice.
Wow.
Very good.
Yeah, that's a great one, Eric.
That one's held up
remember-
okay with the time, man.
Yeah, so this was canned in January. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, so it's like over 6 months old and it still tastes just as good as it did fresh. So I've never had a smoothie go bad on me. I've had some people say like they taste rotten after a while because they do have a lot of real fruit in them. So eventually they are going to expire, but I've never had one like re-ferment or, I mean, you got to keep them cold. Otherwise they will re-ferment and the cans can even explode if they get too hot. just because all of the fruit content. But yeah, I've never had one like taste off or anything. Just maybe like lose a little bit of flavor after some time, but
That's great. So
Yeah.
number 2 for me here is this guy here, which is let's see, this is called Song and Sword, which I got 1 can from a friend of mine down in New Jersey. So it's a collaboration beer from the Seed Brewery out of Atlantic City, which does these really, really interesting pilsners and Belgian whites and saison beers, but they do some really nice IPA stuff. But this is a collaboration with North Park out of San Diego. And so it's a double IPA with Citra Incognito, Citra, and Matueka. But it's coming in at 9%. And it had a 4.4 rating. So it's pretty darn good. I wish I had more than 1 can of this thing, but
yeah, speaking of ratings, the only beers I've ever rated a 5 are triple IPAs from Fidens. I think almost every single triple IPA they've done, I've rated as a 5 because it's just like I can't imagine it getting any better than that. I wouldn't want it to, you know. It's already like perfect.
That's the bar.
So we're all kind of neck and neck here. So I'm opening up my second. So I've got Use It Up with Mango from Fidens, a double IPA with.
Mike's cutting out. That one has all Simcoe hops, and then it has mango added to it.
Citra too.
Okay.
According to the can, Simcoe and Citra. Yeah, 7.9%. So this one, unfortunately, was end of May is when it was produced. So it's got a little bit of time on it. So we'll kind of see how it goes.
That one was amazing when I had it. That was like one of my favorite ones. The pineapple one they did was incredible too.
Let me see that can, Mike. I forgot about that one.
I think we all got 1 of each because the limit was so low.
Yep. I remember that one.
So as I got new ones, I rotated them around in my refrigerator, and this one must have just gotten pushed to the back.
I'm typically not a fan of fruited IPAs. Like I think adding fruit to an IPA is kind of redundant because you should be able to get those fruity flavors from the hops if you brew it right. Yeah. So it's kind of like a cheap little thing, but the Fidens fruited IPAs that they've been doing have been so good. Like it's just the right little touch of it where it just adds a nice little extra bit of fruity flavor, and it's not overpowering, you know.
I agree. It's really well balanced. It's good.
It's the right dose of seasoning brings out the flavors. You know, it's
exactly
flavor enhancer in a way.
Exactly.
They touch it really gently. You don't sense the additional pineapple, but
right. It just like complements the hops.
Yeah, it just brings it all out, especially if you let it warm up a little bit.
Yeah, well, awesome image, Colleen.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, this one's from Colleen. Miniuk.
Well, you and Jimmy both chose this exact same one, so I made Jimmy pick a different one.
Well, I chose it because when I saw her in the story that went behind it, I went out to my garbage can and threw my damn camera out. I'm like, I can't top this one.
Isn't that story great?
Not that it's a competition, but this. Yeah, go ahead. You tell the story. So
yeah, I summarize it.
I want you to chime in too, Jimmy. But this one, I talked to Colleen a couple of days ago about this one, and because I was just kind of blown away by it. And this one here comes from the Great Smoky Mountains in the national park area. It's titled "In a Puddle of Neutrons," and just as Jimmy said, I really love the description of the story on her Instagram account, where she talks about, you know, we all know how this works. I mean, she sat there in this area and took 300 plus snaps of this image to, you know, just to find the perfect representation of what she was looking for. And when I saw this, I mean, the first thing that came through my head was, what is it? You know, it's really original. No idea what it was. Great intimate details, patterns, and lightings. and it was really great. And then she had this life message with it that said, she came back. What I read, she came back to the scene. I don't know if it was the next day or a couple of days later, and it was no longer available. And so her message was embrace the moment, and life is better with bubbles in it, which I thought was pretty cool. Because a lot of times, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but you get caught up in a scene, you shoot it. If you're with someone, it feels a little bit weird because you can really, um, spend a lot of time just kind of on that scene. But you gotta embrace the moment and capture the beauty while it's available. So I really enjoy this image a lot. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and pollen season. I mean, if I was, my understanding was that this was pollen on the surface of a puddle that was maybe 12 inches by 12 inches, maybe a little bit bigger than that. But pollen season, as miserable as it is when you're allergic to it, but you get these really bizarre patterns when it sits on water, or the water kind of, it falls on water, but then the water disintegrates, and it's just, yeah. Like, this is so gorgeous. Yeah, it's really
I love it.
unique.
It's cool how the pollen formations resemble like leaves and flower petals and stuff too.
Yep. Roots, branches from the stick season, when there's no leaves on it, and neurons, and
It's mind blowing. I mean, it looks like you're under a microscope
yeah.
looking at stuff. It's just
Yeah.
it's super unique.
That's what I thought when I first saw it too. Is it looks like it brought back some bad school memories when I was just
I bet it
staring at
did, Mike.
yeah, staring at slides of neurons for hours and hours and hours on end is kind of what it reminded me of. But yeah, absolutely a fantastic image. And I'm very good friends with Colleen, and she's one of the most inspiring people I know, both in her images and her writing. She's also one of the most intelligent people I know. She just has an amazing creative intelligence, and we've had a lot of long conversations about that aspect of photography. And so the way that she wrote that and the way that she delivered the message that accompanied this image is just kind of par for the course for her. And she's definitely a really solid contributor to the field of photography and creative arts in general. And this image is just absolutely mesmerizing.
She's super funny too.
Yeah, she's hysterical. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's like, I was talking to her about what, just the image and our conversation about it, and she wanted to contribute to the beer cause. So it cracked me up. I was like, hey, you know what? I appreciate the thought.
Well,
Yeah,
she was at my house, Jimmy. I think when you very first told me about the whole beer network.
Yeah, when we shipped you the double dry
Oh.
hop Ghost in the
Yeah,
Machine.
yeah.
Yeah,
And she was
Yeah.
teasing me with she was sending me messages and photos and stuff because she got to try it before I did.
That's right.
That's
Right.
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my camera equipment is on sale over on eBay. If you
I don't want to buy
Slightly-
your equipment,
slightly.
Jimmy. It's probably cursed. It's probably bad luck.
Yeah.
Slightly refurbished.
Gonna make me
it's-
worse.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome job,
so
Colin.
good. Yeah, great stuff, Colleen.
Yeah, this one stopped me in my tracks when I first saw it.
Mhm.
Just because it's hard to tell what it is, and it's also
Yeah.
so visually interesting and engaging. Super graphic. Yeah, this is one that I had in mind to share as well, but I knew one of you guys would pick it at some point, so I didn't.
We were wrestling over a couple of these, so I get it. Low hanging fruit, right?
Man, I love Paul with the helicopter pilot headset. Looks like
how's
he's in
the
Vietnam
how's
or
the
something.
traffic? What's the traffic report, Paul?
Yeah, I'm gonna coming to you live from Sky 8.
Paul's new name is Airwolf.
That you know what? That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. I like it.
So this
Ooh,
one
look
is
at
from
that.
my buddy Jimmy Tran. He lives in Santa Cruz, and I'll get back to the image later, but a cool thing about Jimmy is he's actually a brewer for Humble Sea Brewing in Santa Cruz. He brews all of their stouts and does other stuff from time to time. So that's kind of how we became friends, and I discovered his work because we were following the same brewery, and he saw me. He was like following me, following my photography, but then he saw that I commented on this brewery's Instagram page, and he was like, "Oh, you like beer? Let me send you some beer from Humble Sea because I work there." So then we became friends, and he's I think he started photography in the pandemic, so he's only been doing it for like 2 years now, and he's progressed tremendously. And he came out last fall. We went shooting together here in Utah for a few days, and of course, drank a bunch of beer that he brought out with him. But yeah, this scene, I was really blown away because it's like obviously a coastal scene, but the perspective is so unique from what you usually see. How you have this like cliffside here on the left edge. Like instead of shooting out towards the horizon in the open sky, it's like the other direction. And then the streaking water, like the 4 strips of the streaking water coming back in from the tide, and just the texture and lighting and everything. This one really blew me away. And yeah, I don't know. I was really impressed by this.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's only been doing photography for 2 years. That's crazy. Stuff is so good. I had no idea.
Is he over on Instagram, Jamie?
Yeah, his name is Overly Hopped on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pulling him up right now. The lighting here is phenomenal. Really like the composition as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have him on the show sometime.
Definitely.
Drill him with some brewing questions.
Oh, yep. I got him here. Yeah, he's got some really great stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I like it. Yeah, that's good stuff. You say, is he in San Diego, you said, Eric?
He's in Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, gotcha.
Central California. Jimmy, have you broken out that home brewing kit that you got for Christmas?
I have not.
When's the first batch coming?
Yeah, man.
Well, maybe maybe tomorrow I'll start it, or Friday. I've got a laid up week next week. We'll put it that way. So I might be looking for something to do.
What's the first style of beer that you're gonna brew?
Oh boy. I think it actually
Triple
came
IPA
with
straight out the gate.
I'm just gonna,
You gunslinger.
I'm gonna make that field goal from the 98th yard.
You're gonna have a bunch of cave trolls lined up outside your garage trying to get crowlers.
Oh my God. I've been taking notes every time I go by the brewery. So yeah, it's going down. Yeah. Tomorrow.
Hey, we expect the bottle. So
I can't
Yeah,
guarantee
we
it's not
gotta
gonna explode in transit. So
we gotta test it on the show.
yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call right there. Test it on the show.
Absolutely.
All right. Doing it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so this is a little more Vermont representation. Kurt Budliger. This image is not from Vermont. I believe it's from Colorado, but Kurt is a fellow Vermont photographer. So a little shout out to Kurt. Kurt has amazing images. And so finding one of his that truly stands out is hard to do because they're so uniformly excellent. But what I think I loved about this one the most is how he did it. How it's kind of, the subject that's in focus. The trunks of the aspen trees are kind of shot through, some lower level aspen leaves that are out of focus, which is, for whatever reason, I always love images that are made that way. But I think in particular, when it comes to foliage photography, it's easy not to kind of push some creative, or try some creative different things like he did with this image. It's so easy to just kind of take the low hanging fruit and the, tree canopies and the lined up, aspens or, whatever it is. I know that's something I struggle with. It's just so easy to take pictures of the colors on the trees. So I really like that he did that. And so it's got a little bit of an abstract feel to it. Really well balanced in symmetry and just really solid image, which, we come to expect from Kurt and his work. So definitely happy to share that one.
Always solid stuff. Yeah. Really consistent work.
This is great. I really love this perspective. I like the blur that
Mhm.
he's treatment that he's dropped on this one. And to your point, Mike, yeah, you're used to seeing these kind of scenes where they're a little bit more focused and dialed in on the scene. But man, I'll tell you what, I really love the artistic approach he's put here.
Mhm.
This is great. I love this image.
Yeah, do you
Great,
guys
great,
know
great one.
if Kurt is doing okay now, or what his
I think so. I
status
mean, I
is?
haven't, believe it or not, I haven't met him. We've come close a couple of times. So I don't really communicate with him that much, even though he only lives about 45 minutes. And so I think he's doing better. Um, hopefully he's doing better.
Yeah, he was supposed to
Let us know,
come to
Kurt.
the out of Olympic conference we did in May, and I was really excited to meet him, but last minute he just wasn't up for it because he was still recovering and everything, and he
Yeah,
thought he'd be ready, but yeah, it sucks. But
yeah.
yeah, I hope he gets better quickly if he's not already. But yeah, this one I really love how the out of focus leaves kind of resemble fireflies or something, and just yeah, like you said, Mike, it's so easy to do like the conventional fall photography because it works and it always looks great. Yeah, a lot of times I can kind of forget myself to experiment a little bit and try to do something completely different like this. And yeah, this is executed very well.
This is an excellent image. I love it. I love this.
For sure. So this is from it's one I submitted from Hans Gunnar Lasken. It's a photographer out of Norway. And Hans's work, as I've chatted about with a few people, is just super consistent and really just very clean, innovative, unique. I can't say that I can always point to an image of his that I say that must be Hans, but that's not to detract at all. It's just every image he produces is just super solid, and just it gets me to question how I interact with the environment and my landscape as I move through it, regardless of where I am. But when you look through his portfolio on his website or on Instagram, it's really just one image after another that is just really unique and inspiring, and just kind of just very, very solid stuff.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
his stuff. I think you butchered his name, probably Jimmy.
Aslaksen. Oh, I did. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Aslaksen, Aslaksen,
Aslaksen. Aslaksen. Sorry, Hans.
Alaskan.
he's one of my favorite photographers. I mean, I had one of his images set up for our last episode, and I'll definitely showcase something with him in the future. But yeah, excellent choice, Jimmy. I mean, his stuff is, I don't know. I look at it and I'm like, what am I doing? So it's
Yeah.
it's his stuff is just absolutely fantastic. He does a really excellent job. His Instagram and website is just image after image of just really great, tasteful work. I love it.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah,
lot of great stuff.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was going to be, to your point, Paul. I mean, he's just so consistently good. I mean, and the volume of images that he creates that are just absolutely next level is really outstanding. And about this one in particular, I don't know. Somehow I must have missed this one, so I'm glad you brought it out, Jim. But everything with the kind of textures in the foreground and the not quite symmetrical but very balanced trees in the background and the shadows. It's just a really well executed image. Really enjoy it.
You,
Yeah.
hey Jimmy, do you have
Yeah.
room in that garbage can for my
Yeah,
photography
right.
gear?
Yeah, player.
'Cause
I've pretty
I'm,
much
I'm,
thrown
I'm
out every camera I had. I even threw my cell phone out in
yeah. When you send me that beer, I'm gonna have a return package for you
there.
to throw mine in the same dumpster.
Yeah,
Dispose.
yeah, yeah. No, if you
Yeah,
look at his water images, it's just like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
he doesn't do anything that is like not amazing. Everything he does is awesome, and I'm always like just blown away by the creativity and how unique it is. This one feels like another planet, it's just the scale is super interesting. It's like the foreground is like up close So you can see those details in the snowdrift, like the blowing snow, and then the trees like look miniature almost because of the depth and everything. And it's just, yeah, super surreal. Really interesting photograph. You could look at this for a long time.
Yeah, when you go to his website and you look at the small scenes gallery that he has, just yeah, beautiful work.
Yeah, super nice. I actually looked on his website to try to find this one to grab it, and it wasn't up there. I couldn't find it anywhere. Actually, quite a few of these that we grabbed. You guys got to update your websites because you post all this awesome stuff on Instagram, and then I want to go see it like full screen and appreciate the details and like look through a gallery, and it's not there. And Instagram is like the worst place to appreciate photography. Yeah. So, I mean, I always post my stuff on my website first before anything, and then from there I'll share it on Instagram, maybe Facebook every now and then, as kind of like billboards to try to lead people to my website, and then have like a more intentional viewing experience where they can see the images and the sequence that I've selected and see the whole gallery and the whole body of work. And yeah, if you're not posting yourself on your website, you're kind of selling yourself short because your audience isn't going to be able to appreciate all of your images as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a great comment. Put it on the site, and then use the Instagram platform to pull someone into the site to show the great work. Yeah, well stated, Erik.
Yeah, no social media platform was created to improve the viewing experience of art or photography or any kind of media. They're all shrunken, and like, we downsize them to fit the social media. Like those platforms, they use art to improve the experience of the platform, not, the platform isn't created to improve the experience of viewing art. So you really got to have somewhere that people can appreciate your images a little bit bigger and see them full resolution and nice and sharp.
Yeah, except for MySpace. When I pulled it up on my IBM PC, it's pretty freaking solid.
Your Razor flip phone.
It's like right over your head. Paul got it, but the young guy.
It's hitting all the notes, baby.
I used to have MySpace.
Oh no, I got it.
All right.
I may have dated myself though, Jamie. I may have dated myself. You and I are a little long in the tooth, I think.
Yeah, you used to be able to have a little music going and all that. I think it was a great platform. I don't know why it fell off.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
The top 5, and then like the top 8, and then like the top 20. Like it just kept increasing because people couldn't have like only a few best friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
This drama. Why'd you take me off your top 8?
Yep. Used to have some,
why am I number 2 now? I was number
that.
1.
Yeah.
Used to have some very good run.
We had some drama with the homies.
That's so good.
It's so coming back. Vero and Threads got nothing on MySpace, man.
That's right.
Yeah, they should just recreate it. I don't know what was wrong with MySpace. I don't know why it didn't flourish.
Resuscitate that. That's an episode in itself. We'll just do
bring back old shit.
Yeah, we'll resuscitate that bad boy.
Paul, if you had MySpace right now, who would your top 8 be?
Well, I'm talking to 3 of them. Oh,
go.
Good answer, baby. Good answer.
But I would be first, right? Before these guys.
Well, you're lined on my screen right now. You're lined up number 1. Mike's number 2. Jimmy's number 3. But I'm not. Jimmy's my boy. I mean, he's the guy that's really
he's the source.
He's taking care of my fridge. So, dude, I don't know.
That's a hard call.
Ow.
It is, dude. It's such a hard call.
Jimmy would be my number 1 for sure.
Yeah, I think he's everybody's number 1.
Even if it's not sincere, just for the practicality of it, keep him on my good side.
And it's not sincere. I mean,
he's put in some reps. He's bleeding for us. So I mean, there's dedication to the team.
And I mean, stiff right now.
Yeah, it's.
Before I told Jimmy about fight-ins, I think his beer of choice was the Lagunitas IPA. He said.
You need to stop, dude.
I thought it was boom sauce.
That came later. That came later. Damn it. Connection's breaking up.
Yeah, the connection's breaking up.
Yeah.
Bone sauce. Hey,
All right.
we need to get that on the program.
Next image.
Yeah. Hey, oh, whoa.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, you guys have seen this before, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So, this is my guy, Bollino, Mike Bollino. Really good friend of mine, and one of my partners in crime when it comes to traveling and adventure and all that good stuff. He's right here in the Northwest with me, locally in Portland. Love the title of this image, Gnarl in Life. I mean, it really makes sense when you
Love
look
that.
at it. This one was taken up in the Bristol Cones Pines area in California. I was not with Mike at the time. I remember when he was there, though. I think he comboed it with a Death Valley trip, maybe even a family trip.
Is that like White Mountain or something? What's the name of it again?
Yeah, it's right up there.
White Mountain? Is that what it's called?
Yep. I may or may not have messaged Mike when I first saw him post this one. I always look for this kind of image where, you've kind of got that gnarled type wood tree thing and maybe some other stuff going along with it. I mean, it just makes sense. And I was pretty disappointed. I mean, I was happy for him, but I was like, dude, you totally suck. This is a fantastic image. So, when I look at something like this, a lot of folks probably walk by something like this, maybe even step on something like this when they're out there in the field. But I've shot plenty of times with Mike, and one thing I've learned from him, his head's always on a swivel. I've been on the forest floor with that guy, crawling around on our hands and knees for hours, just shooting really small, really cool scenes, and this is just like something that he would see and kind of just stop in his tracks and frame that thing up and make a really good image of it. Something that's the colors are great. You've got some dead, you got some living. It's just a really well put together scene for me.
Yeah, there's like the kind of scene that I would see and think looks really cool, possibly, but I would totally ruin it trying to take a photograph of it.
Yeah,
I love how
you and me both.
It's got that center plant, flower, whatever you want to call it, that definitely grabs your attention right away. But there's just so much, you go right there, and then there's so much to kind of wander around the image and kind of look at. It's something you definitely spend some time looking at and exploring visually. He did a really good job of framing it to allow you to do that, which is always something I personally struggle with, for sure.
Yeah, you struggle with like everything in photography, though.
Pretty much, dude. Pretty much.
Yeah, my garbage can's pretty empty still. Yeah. But
you got room for a third?
the splashes of red he has in there over where I live, where Mike and I live, we have cardinal flower, which is like this scarlet red color, if you can find it. But I'm not sure what that is there, but it doesn't matter that it's not super detailed and in focus. It's just those splashes of red. And yeah, I remember this image. I didn't know what we were going to be looking at tonight, and I saw this and I'm like, yep, that's Mike's. Like, it's just really, really just a great image. I just love it very much. I remember seeing it come across, and I was there's a scene that I photographed a few years ago, and I've done nothing with the image, never released it, never showed it to anybody. But when I saw Mike's iteration of it, I was just like, yep, okay, I'm not going to do anything with that image. It's just, yeah, this is just really perfect in many ways to me.
Yeah, I love the flowing composition with the tree roots, how they're all, kind of curving and doing different things, but it's framed in a way that it's all cohesive and it's all, flowing together. that's like a certain kind of subject matter that can be really chaotic and hard to deal with, and because it could just be going off in completely different directions and not really like working together. But yeah, the way he framed it and cut it off is perfect here. It's like a scene where the way he presented it makes it look deceptively easy and simple, but it's probably super hard to shoot. And yeah, maybe it took him some time or maybe not, but it would probably take anybody quite a bit of time to try and figure this one out.
Yeah, waiting for the light too, because the lighting will be really critical here.
Yep,
Yeah, great
totally
point,
agree.
Tim.
Yeah, it looks like he just shot it in the shade, which is nice for this.
Yeah.
Evenly bring out everything and not have too much contrast.
I think Mike just turned 50 too, so congratulations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just got back. He spent his 50th up on Kilimanjaro in
okay.
Africa with his family, and then followed that up with a safari over there. So I think he got back either yesterday or today. So I think he's coming over maybe this weekend. So yeah, I haven't seen him in about a month. So really great dude.
Sounds like a horrible birthday.
Yeah,
I know, right? I think it was like a birthday and
that.
I think it was like a birthday anniversary trip where it's like, dude, you absolutely crushed it. None of us are gonna live up to that. So good job in making us all look like dirtbags.
Yeah, didn't get eaten by a lion either, so that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to have Bollino on the show at some point too.
Yeah, definitely Bollino. He'd be good. He'd be a good pickup.
So this one from Alberto Rodriguez. Admittedly, he's a friend of mine, but he just released this brand new gallery a couple days ago from Yosemite, and I went and looked through it, and it's phenomenal. I was super impressed. So I wanted to feature something from this gallery so that anybody that any poor soul that is in the darkest recesses of the internet that finds this video will hopefully go and check out this gallery because it's totally worth it. But this image in particular, I loved just the snowy look to it. Very ethereal effect here. Great atmosphere, and then the lighting hitting the trees in the background, and then the front trees shaded in the foreground just gives it really nice depth, and it's organized really well. And yeah, I just love the feeling of this one, and this is the one that stood out to me the most in the gallery, I would say.
Gosh, yeah, I just pulled up the Yosemite in winter gallery yeah, okay, that's
his
phenomenal.
stuff's fantastic.
Yeah.
He hasn't been doing photography for very long either. Maybe just like a few years or something, I think. And he's progressed tremendously since I first met him. I mean, when I first found him, he had great stuff already. But yeah, now he's just been really consistent and putting out really unique stuff. Really cool guy as well.
And very little, just a brief glance, very little in here is speaking to me as Yosemite. And that's just really cool that you didn't go for the iconic images, you didn't go for the tunnel view, but just this alpine California in the dead of winter mode is it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and the tones here are fantastic. I like the dark to light, the shading kind of pulls you through the image. The fog is a nice touch. I really like what he did here. I like the treatment on it. I like the tones. It's a really great image. Absolutely. And he's got some really great stuff.
What's his Instagram handle? Because apparently there's more than one Alberto Rodriguez out there.
It's El Europeo, the European in Spanish. He's from Spain, but he lives in California now. So ELEUROPEO. But yeah, he's
Is that and but
Yep.
I'm already following him. Nice. Yeah, I love winter images. I mean, it's definitely by far my favorite season for photography, and this image is basically why. I love the lighting, the transitions, all the things that you guys talk about. I have too much to add. I agree with all that you said, and it's just a fantastic image. I think Yosemite got a lot of snow this year, like more than normal. Is it? Do you know was it from this past winter?
Yeah, this is recent work from this past winter.
Yeah, so I think I think they got a lot more snow this year than they do on normal years. So a lot of good work coming out of Yosemite, but this is the best I've seen.
they got buried. I mean, they had like
Yeah,
absolutely record-breaking snow this year.
yeah.
Yeah, how do you
Yeah.
guys feel about releasing work like say you have like a winter gallery and you release it in the summer, or do you try to release it in the winter, or like a fall gallery, do you release it whenever? Do you try to release it in the fall, or how do you guys feel
That's
about that?
Dude, that's such a good question because I
Oh,
mean,
it
I was
is.
actually like looking. I'm kind of I have so many like backlog images, just kind of crazy. And I was looking through images last night on stuff, and a lot of my stuff's winter focused. It seems to be that way because that's the time I like to get out because there's less traffic, I guess, less people, and less folks that want to endure the pain and suffering that comes along with that occasionally. But I was kind of scratching my head on that. The same thing, absolutely last night, going, is there a thing here where it has to be like, hey, if it's summer, it's the mountains, it's the wildflowers, and then if fall, it's the fall. Um, Personally, I don't care, but I was wondering if that was a thing. So I'm so glad you asked that question.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of tend to like, I mean, I sit on my images for a while anyway, so a lot of times they coincide with like, stuff from last fall. I'm ready to release it around the next fall of the next year, like roughly a year later. Um, but then also I think like, it's just like people are kind of looking for fall images, so it resonates with them more. But then like looking at this right now, we're in the dead of summer. I kind of feel like I resonate with this because it's such a nice contrast to what's actually happening right now. It's different, it's different than the world around me. It doesn't look the same as my surroundings. It's completely different, and snow becomes like this foreign concept. You almost forget how it is and what it feels like when you're in the heat of midsummer. So it's like I don't know if that actually makes it more special because it makes it feel even more different and unique than what you're experiencing currently, or maybe it's too different, or yeah, it's something I think about often when I release galleries. I try to kind of time them somewhat intentionally for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue is that I editing is by far my least favorite part of the photography process. So, especially in fall up here, as an example, I'll take 1,000 plus photos over the course of 2 to 3 weeks in October, and it takes me forever to get through those and to edit them, just because I do one or two at a time, and so by the time I get around to releasing them, it's probably January, or putting them out there. So kind of like Paul said, I don't really care. It really doesn't bother me to release a fall image in January or a June image in November. But really, for me, the rate limiting step is my editing process, and how I generally don't like doing it that much, or at least not for that long period of time.
How long does it take for you to edit a photo in general?
A long time.
Really?
It depends on the image. I mean, 80 to 90% of it's on, image cleanup, and it's getting easier. I think the technology is improving. But, I'll spend a lot of time, cleaning up an image. So, and then in the end, it doesn't look all that different than the raw, to be honest with you. But I've cleaned it up, the best way that I know how. And a lot of that is just where I shoot. Around here, there's a lot of woods, and so I'm cleaning up, sticks and stumps and stuff that's kind of scattered throughout, that kind of muddies up the scene and muddies up the composition. So most of it's just image cleanup and edge patrol and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I would say I take like 15 minutes on average to edit an
Yeah,
image. I can edit like 6 or 7 or 8 in a single day sometimes, but
yeah,
yeah.
I'm I've been going to the school of Bennett lately, where I've just really simplified things. But yeah, I
It's
used to take a
all
while.
those damn selfies, man.
Absolutely. When you're having a good hair day, you got to throw it out there. Or the dogs are active. You just got to like let it ride, right? Great session, boys.
Absolutely, good
Yeah.
time. Awesome,
Good to see
awesome
you
images,
guys.
killer images.
Mike, you need a new internet, but
You're gonna have to talk to the state of Vermont about that one, or I don't even know. Living up here on a mountain, I'm lucky I have it.
Are you on a mountain, dude?
Heck yeah, yeah, I could see almost into New York from my kitchen window.
Are you out in the sticks a little bit, like just a little
A
bit
lot of it.
disconnected?
Yes,
A lot of it.
ma'am.
Dude, that's so badass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the city, but that's my dream is just like be out somewhere a few miles out with some strong internet. And the rest of it, I don't really give a shit about. Give me some strong internet, give me a good view, mountain, lake, whatever, and fuck it, I'm good.
Mike doesn't even have the strong internet, so
he's on a fucking treadmill.
Like, I don't have internet. Yeah.
Mike, pedal faster. Come on, bro.
This connection's just not working. Yeah.
You can come over to my place, man.
Mike's sitting there drinking a beer in a lather, going, I can't fucking keep up.
Yeah.
You're a savage, dude.
Just drenched. Absolutely drenched.
Destroy.
We'll have to coincide the recording of the next episode with Mike's visit to Jimmy's house to pick up his case of Fidens.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. That'd be fun.
That would be so sick. Do like a POV shot, Mike.
Yeah.
Rolling. We need somebody to film that. Someone's behind you. You're walking up there to grab your package and your beer.
Package, some power.
Yeah.
Grab whose package?
Oh my god! The last
I got a
drop
package
was like
and some
40
beer.
What was that? 48 cans.
What?
Yeah,
bro.
It was a lot.
And he's almost out. He says he's almost out of beer.
Yeah,
bullshit.
I'm winding down. No, I'm winding down. I seriously am winding down.
Dude, you
For
sound
the record,
like me, you savage. You sound like me, you savage.
I've had two of my one of my college roommates and one of my med school roommates were just out here, so like we've had some sessions, so I've burned through some stuff, but yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna need a refill. So I mean, I could probably stretch it to our next episode taping session.
Shit. I'm gonna have to dip into Polly's stash.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
He won't mind. He won't mind.
Hang on, bro. Mike, if you need some, grab some of that burial. Come on, do it.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll be there Friday. If you need an extra 4-pack, do a thing.
Yeah, there we go. No, I probably got about I don't know 8 left out of that.
The last Fidens drop.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah. So
pedal,
I left
pedal, Mike.
Come
on.
We couldn't coordinate our time, so what I did is I left a cooler on my back porch loaded with beer, and
someone took it.
Yeah, well,
bullshit.
We were able to coordinate, but my daughter's wondering why the porch is sagging on one side.
Hey, dude, one of these days you're gonna go back to the porch to grab the beer, and fucking Bennett and I are gonna be standing there. Let's fucking go, dude.
Shotgun beers.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. We could Bennett next fall, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that'd be so sick. Take the show on the road.
Yeah, heck yeah.
If there is a show still, this is barely episode 2. We'll see how many.
Yeah, episode 2. Hey, we're taking the show on the road. We're gonna have a van, a truck,
t-shirts and jackets,
dancers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul's the visionary behind this whole thing. I'm just here to see where it goes.
Dude, I'm telling you, I got some things going. I got some
big
things
ideas
cooking in the kitchen. Yeah, big ideas. Big ideas.
Huge.
Vegas type shit.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're doing, which I'm sure people can see. We're not professional talk show hosts, but we're having a good time and hopefully reciprocating by sharing the stuff that we like and helping people discover new work. So trying to give back to the community.
That's right.
And have fun while doing it.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool because I think we're all three pretty like-minded when it comes to both the beverage as well as the visual pleasures.
Yeah, sure.
Too funny.
I think if we pull somebody in, like when we start having guests, maybe say
We can just
okay,
kick
hey,
Mike out and then have the guest.
we're gonna segue.
You know what? Let me actually. You know what? I just thought of something. There may be another reason I wasn't thinking about. Let me try.
Your internet was
Hey.
doing okay towards the end, but
Are you closing that porn down, dude?
Paul snuck in a few more beers that he didn't share with us.
Hey, I said that last one was 15%, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you drank the whole bottle. No cork tonight.
Totally.
Not
So-
corking that bad boy.
Yeah, it was fine last time.
He was kind of cutting out, but yeah, it was way worse this time. It was horrible. Probably ruined the whole
Yeah.
thing.
I'm sure it did.
Luckily, Mike doesn't say anything significant anyway, so
Exactly.
expendable.
I don't talk much. I'm there for fluff.
Yes.
Let's wrap this one up with a cheers until the next episode.
Cheers, boys.
Good to see you guys.
Cheers, boys.
See you guys.
Great episode. Thanks, guys.